Hello, my name is Mike Cornwell, and welcome to this edition of the Leadership Academy for Kids. I'm in my studio here at my house with my two children that I teach leadership every single week, Mondays at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why don't you guys go ahead and say hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hello. We have Hazel in the studio, and we have Julia. Every single week, we talk about leadership and influence topics. The last couple weeks, we were talking about money, and while there's a lot to be said about money, we went ahead and closed out that series, and we're going to start something a little new. We're going to talk about something a little differently. So the first mini videos that we did, we were really going over kind of the basics of leadership. What is leadership and what is influence and how do they connect together? Just these basic things, which we're getting ready to go over again here in a moment.
And what's money? And what you do? And action behavior.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment, Julia. And then we started talking about money. Now we're going to talk about love. We're going to talk about love, and we're going to look at it from a leader's perspective, using influence with love. We're going to see what is love, at least from the aspect of a leader. Why does love work with leadership, and how would you use it if you did? So let's get started. We're first going to go over kind of we're going to go over the stuff that we've already been over. Let's start with, what is influence?
Influence is getting someone to do the action, behaviors, and beliefs
Yeah.
that you want them to do.
So influence is nothing more than the ability, the natural phenomena for us to be able to get other people to do the things that we want them to do. And the three things that we would be influencing, i.e. getting them to do, is doing an action,
Behavior,
doing a behavior,
belief, and belief.
and a belief. That's right. Okay. What is the two polarities? I didn't really use this terminology before, but what are the two polarities of influence? The positive and the negative polarity of influence.
Manipulation and leadership.
Yeah, that's right. So the positive side is called leadership, and the negative side is called manipulation. Okay? What is this polarity? What is it referring to?
It is referring to battery.
Yes, it comes from battery terminology, but if influence is both the positive and the negative side here, what is it? What is the commonality between leadership and manipulation? Actually, they in theory have everything in common, but what is the one difference between the two?
That one's good, that one's bad.
I don't want to go. I'm not going to call it good and bad. We didn't go over that. What do you think, Hazel? What's the difference between these two? There's only one difference.
Others and self.
Yeah, but what? Okay, what about others and self?
That one's influence for others, and that one's influence for yourself.
It's the purpose. The purpose. So what this positive and negative polarity is purpose. Maybe we should wrote that up top here. So this is the purpose polarity. And what that means is the purpose for others, or is it for self? And then if you do it for others, it's leadership. If it's self, it's manipulation. So the same two things that you get people to take actions, behaviors, and beliefs, one is called leadership, one's called manipulation. And the only difference between that is its purpose. Okay? How does influence work? Why does influence work at all? So a little bit of review. How does influence work? Why does it work? Why would somebody be willing to do the actions, the behaviors, and the beliefs that we want them to do? Why would they be willing to do that?
Could you give them stuff? Or
Maybe.
you do things for them?
Maybe. There's a little bit to that. What do you think, Hazel? Don't know. The reason why influence works is because what we are doing is we are showing other people without a shadow of doubt. This is unsaid. It is not. It's not dictated to them. That by doing it, they would be better off. This vision that we set forward for people to actually go and to obtain, they believe inherently it would be better for them. They either believe the specific actions themselves or the behaviors of the beliefs are better for them, or by doing it, they would be better off by doing it. So many of us are willing to go to work outside of our homes, whether we want to or not, because we believe that our lives would be better off by going and doing that. We do that. We go get resources. We bring it back to our house, and then we do all sorts of things with them. That is kind of the basics of influence itself. So now let's talk about influence as a currency. How does that work? You were starting to get at this about doing things for other people. Influence is a currency of a leader, right? So what does that mean?
A leader's money?
So leader's money, so what does that mean?
It means
What do you think, Hazel?
the leader can buy stuff with the money.
What are they buying?
Influence?
No, the money is influence.
Oh, they're buying other people to get them to do what you want.
They're buying the actions, behaviors, and beliefs of others. How do they get that currency? What do you think, Hazel? Yeah, go ahead.
By leadership?
You said by leadership? Yes. It's all part of that kind of stuff. Oop. Let me fix that. That thing's like falling apart. Oh, it broke. We're asking the question, how do you obtain this influence from other people to get them to do things? And the answer is we do things for them. We convince them by our actions that we have their best interests at heart. And so we do things for them. They give us this money called influence, and then we can use that influence to get them to do other things. Okay, this all makes sense, right? So now let's talk about our topic today. What is love? According to your guys' definition. Hazel, don't worry about that. What's love? Okay.
Nothing like caring for someone.
Okay. It's like caring for someone.
Like, caring for others.
Okay. Caring for others. I like that. Why should you care for others?
Because it's good.
It's good. I mean, I guess by its technical definition, it is
But
good.
then others will like you. Yeah.
That's a good reason.
Love you.
That's a good reason. What about there's lots of reasons for love. What do you think? Why would we be talking about this topic when we're talking about leadership, right? Influence, leadership. It's about getting other people to take actions, behaviors, and beliefs. Why are we talking about love?
Good.
We can talk about all sorts of things that are good. We can talk about God. We can talk about Jesus, but we're talking about leadership right now. What do you think, Hazel? What does love have to do with leadership? You don't know. So caring for others, right? So it makes us feel good, right? When we love other people, right? What about for them?
Then they'll like you.
Perhaps.
Then if you don't, then you won't have anyone. Then you won't have
Okay. No one will be with you. I'm gonna write that one down. If you don't, no one will be with you. Quote, Hazel. Spelled your name wrong. There you go. Yep. If you don't, put no as in to know, but not N-O. If you don't, no one will be with you. That's pretty close. You're getting at the essence here. Let me help you. Let me help clean up your words here. Go ahead.
Then you can't influence anybody.
Okay.
And you can't influence anybody to do actions, behaviors, and beliefs.
So now we're saying, without love as part of a leader, it's hard to influence people.
Yeah.
That's perhaps pretty true.
To do actions, behaviors, and beliefs.
Yep, that's what influence is. Let me give you kind of another way to look at it. Something a little simpler than some of the things that you guys are saying. What love is to a leader, and I'm going to put this as brute and straightforward as possible, is
My mouth is like onion now.
it is a tool.
A tool?
It is a tool.
A tool? How is it a tool? Hey, you put a heart. Love is a tool.
Love is a tool.
What? What? That's ridiculous. Not the internet.
Yeah, a little fuzzy, little arrow shooting through the heart here. Love is a tool. It's a powerful tool.
What?
It is a powerful tool. And what is the tool for?
It's for influence.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and put it in a sentence. It's a powerful tool for the purposes of getting people to take actions, behaviors, and beliefs. This is a tool. Now, a lot of people, certainly it is a feeling, it is true. What love actually is, as far as I can tell, I am not an authority on love, I would say. But from what I can see, love is a deep connection that you create between one person and another. It's like trust. It's things like that. And you have things like kind of some admiration for the person. You have an immense amount of respect for the person, those sorts of things. And so that's kind of an aspect to love. And at the end of the day, for a leader, it is a tool. It is a tool for getting other people to there are actions, behaviors, and beliefs that you cannot get from people unless you use love. Therefore, if it's necessary to get a certain action, you won't get it without this. It's not possible. Same thing with behaviors. If you want to create, a real simple one, if you want to create people who have a loving attitude, you have to love them first. It's not possible to give somebody the behavior of love without demonstrating it first.
Beliefs.
And then beliefs, it's a similar kind of thing. It's very difficult, if not, I would say impossible, to get somebody to believe that.
A rainbow.
Yeah, except we're not talking about that. We're talking about what kind of belief do you think that you might have that only love could get you? You give love to somebody else, and then they have a belief as a result of that. What kind of beliefs do you think they might be? What do you think?
Pink leaves.
No. Come on, let's pay attention. We're saying you give somebody love. Remember, you do something for them, right? You love them. And then you get something back, which is a belief. What kind of beliefs do you think that you could get back using that as a tool? That's not a belief. What beliefs would they have? How about something really simple? They are loved. What happens, what kind of actions do people take if they have the belief that they are loved?
They do nice things for you.
They do nice things. They do certainly nice things for me, but What else might they do?
They
They might have trust.
oh yeah.
So creating beliefs of trust. That comes from this. There are ways to create trust that do not come from this, but you cannot create the belief of love without this. That's not possible. The nature of being loved or feeling that you are loved requires that somebody to actually show love to you. That creates that belief. Once you have that belief, you'll do different behaviors and do different actions. What kind of behaviors and actions do you think people will do when they do not have this belief? They don't have that.
Nice things for you. Yeah. They'll do mean things.
They'll do mean things. I would agree.
They do. They not trust you. Yeah. They
Mm,
don't trust you that they were that they will go in your house.
they will not trust you to go in their house. Perhaps. Okay.
They think they're setting up a trap.
So the main thing we want to pull away from this, we're going to move on a little bit, but the main thing that you need to pull away from this, that to a leader, love is one of the most powerful tools that you can wield. It creates things like loyalty. The only way to create loyalty is through love. Period. What's loyalty?
Loyalty is being nice to someone.
Not even close. Here, let's read from my book. Let's see here.
You're bookie. Bookie.
Page 59. Okay. Loyalty is the act of showing continuous support for a person, organization, or an idea. Loyalty is a critical component of influencing others because it is a necessary requirement for a culture of trust. At its bare minimum, loyalty gives a rock-hard foundation for people to build together, so even if things fail, you can still depend on each other. Loyalty builds a culture of resiliency in the face of any situation. Loyalty, especially when it's inconvenient, is one of the acts that people remember most. When things were bad, he could have switched jobs, but instead he was there for us when we needed him most. So, loyalty is something where people are willing to stick by you even through hard times. That only comes through love. You do not get it through anything else other than love. Because once things get tough, all of a sudden people realize they start to find out the values in life, and if they don't value that person, or they don't value the organization, or even an idea, they will drop it. So if you want to create loyalty with other people, you have a spouse, you have kids, you have to become good at using that tool. So now, let's talk about something a little different. Why do you think it works?
Because
Why does love work?
then they like you.
Nah, that's pretty weak. I think you've said that like 6 times. Why don't you actually think for a second? Why does love work? I kind of said it a little bit earlier. What is love? Again,
Love is a tool. It's a tool.
I don't mean from a leadership perspective. I just mean in general. It's a feeling you have, right? And it's a feeling between two people. Well, a mutual love is between two people. Can you have love without? I don't know. I'm not going to get into this philosophical quandary of whether or not you can love somebody who doesn't love you back. I guess you can.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you could love anybody.
to me. I guess is this true? I'm not 100% convinced of this. So I should tell you, actually, before we go any further, I wanted to bring up a story. So for the longest time in my life, I don't know when this changed, but when I was a kid, I actually did not believe that my parents loved me at all. Yes, really. At least not very much.
Why?
I believe it was because they did not know how to actually connect with me. So my parents are very different than me. And my parents, I mean, there's certainly plenty of things that we have in common, but they are not like me. They don't know nor care to figure out how to actually communicate effectively with me. They just communicate how they want to communicate, and then that's it. And so from this process of not being able to, of them communicating to me very effectively, we had very little connection. Hazel? Mm-mm. So the question is why, kind of gave you a little hint here, why does leadership, or why does love influence people?
Because then
What do you think? Why does it influence people, Hazel? Why is it a powerful tool?
Because then
Think about how the person thinks, feels, and believes.
he feels good.
You're getting real close. Yeah,
Feels nice.
that's true. You feel it feels nice, yeah. Creates connection. And this connection, why did we say that influence works at all? Because we're about to say it again for this right here. Why does influence work at all?
Connection.
Not quite. Pulling away from love for a second, why does influence work? We said it earlier.
Cause
Why would somebody be willing to do the actions, behaviors, and belief that I asked them to do? I've earned it, yes, but why are they willing to extend influence?
they like you.
Not always. Not always. That's why I'm trying to stay away from they liking you and stuff like that. Love, once you start getting into love, you probably have to have like in there for sure. Influence works because the other person believes that by doing the things that you ask them, they're better off, that it is good for them. When you show somebody love, you create a connection, and in this connection, you are proving you care about them. If you have mutual love going on, you are proving that you care about them, and it creates this connection. You're proving. Do you know what prove means? Yeah. No, not even close. Do you know what proving means, Hazel?
No.
Because I keep saying this and you guys aren't calling me out on it. Proving means that you are demonstrating and showing beyond a reasonable doubt that something is the case.
Or you're doing better at something?
In the case of math, a proof or proving something is you go through the steps of math. For example, just to quickly show you guys a little bit of math, there is in algebra, let me see, how do I want to, you might have an equation that looks like this. Here, I'm going to change this just so it's not distracting. Okay? So you might have an equation that looks like this. What does it say?
5.
X.
Yeah. Plus 5 minus.
This is equals
And then equals
10. Okay?
5x.
So one of the things that you can do in math is I can actually pull this out, put these parens here, and do this. And so now I have 5 times x plus 1 equals 10. The way to prove this is you go through the steps to show that. And there's a lot of different ways that one could potentially do it, but you could just solve the equation. So in algebra, you have what's called a variable, and you're trying to solve for that variable. And the variable is what really the way that it goes in this form, where variable equals some number, right? That's what algebra is. We use this all the time in real life. At least I do. I use this all the time. You could do it with this by when 5x 10 minus 5, you basically bring the 5 over, and you do that by minusing 5 over here, minusing 5 over there, and you get 10 minus 5. What's 10 minus 5?
10 minus 5 is 5.
5. Okay, so now we have 5x. I know you guys don't know this yet, but then you divide both sides by 5, and then you get x equals 1. Okay? So we just showed that this right here, 5x plus 5 equals 10. For this equation, x actually equals 1. So 5 times 1 is 5 plus 5 equals 10. So now I'm going to prove that this right here, to some extent, someone could argue against this, but to some extent that this is the same thing as this, because I just did this arbitrary move to do that. The way you do this one is you divide by 5. And so now you got x plus 1 equals 10 divided by 5. Do you guys know what 10 divided by 5 is?
I only know
Want to guess?
10?
No. 10 divided by 5.
10 divided by 5.
It's 2. Okay.
Right, 2.
So then we now do x equals, we minus the 1 here, minus the 1 there. What's 2 minus 1?
2 minus 1?
Yep.
1.
1. So now we just showed that this equation right here equals 1 as well. And so by virtue that both x equals 1 here and here, these equations must be the same. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's called a proof. A proof is showing someone something and being convinced by it because you've fully shown them. That's what proving means. When you love someone, you are proving, and I don't mean deranged concepts of loving. You'll eventually find out about that. I mean in the truest sense that when you create this connection called love between people, you prove to them that you care about them. What happens once they find out that you care about them?
It makes them feel happy?
No, I mean that's nice, but let's bring it back to a tool.
Oh.
This means they're giving you a tool. So what are you going to do with that tool?
You're going to influence them?
Well, no, that's already happened because you've proven you care about them. By using love, you've now influenced them. Now what?
No.
You get them to take actions, behaviors, and beliefs.
Right.
Is this starting to make sense now?
Yeah.
The reason why I call this a tool is because this is one of the most natural and important tools you could possibly ever use in leadership is right here. If you do not show love to somebody, you create a disconnection, you remove connection. That is how it actually happens, is you create a connection, proving that you care about them. When you do that, love is created. Love is created. You now have influence. All right, the last thing. Let me see.
You still have 30 more minutes.
Assuming we're going for an hour, which we are probably not. How about you start paying attention instead of looking and poking at your pants?
Yeah. Poking at your pee.
The question is, now I'm going to ask, how? This is important for you guys. You now know the theory behind love and why it does what it does and really what you're supposed to do with it. But the question is, how do you show somebody that you love them? We're going to do a little brainstorm session where we're going to throw out a bunch of ideas. We're going to throw it to the board, and I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm going to focus on a couple of them. So go ahead. How do you show someone that you love them?
You give them something.
Okay. Gifts. Hazel, go.
What?
How do you show someone you love them? Actually, let me correct myself because you need to be thinking in a slightly different way. How do you create the situation where they believe that you love them? Okay? Not how do you just do things, but how do you actually get somebody else to believe that you love them? Okay, go ahead.
Cook.
You said cook? Okay. Make them something. And I'm going to put like food. Okay. That's a good one. That's an easy one. Okay. What else? Just start shouting them out.
Giving them drinks.
Giving them drinks? I got that. Make them something. What else?
I got one. Giving them cars.
How about we do something other than giving them gifts or bringing them objects? You guys know more than this. What does Mom do to you guys?
Pudding.
You think she cleans because she loves you? You might say make you feel comfortable. Okay. What else? Come on, guys. This is pretty pathetic. Come on. We're talking about love. Let me put this back on the board because I don't think you guys remember. How do you show somebody that you love them?
You give them a hug.
About time. Man, you guys are like terrible. Okay? Hug. That's a good one. What else?
Give them kisses.
Okay. You can kiss them. Okay. What else?
You can
You guys are about goofy. How about this? Say something nice.
good manners. Like manners.
I'll put manners.
Manners.
It's a little odd, but I'll take that. Say something nice would be something like, I don't know, I love you. How easy is that? Okay, what else?
Okay.
What else?
Okay.
I don't know if I'm feeling the love here.
You give them something nice? We already got gifts.
Gifts. Make them something. That covers all physical things. How about do something for them?
Do something nice. I was going to say do something nice for them.
Well, you didn't because you're dawdling. What else?
Let's see.
We got gifts. Make them something. Make them feel comfortable. Hugs and kisses and say something nice like I love you and having good manners.
I thought you just said baking.
I did not say baking.
Okay. Baking. Doing something nice for them?
I already wrote that down. How about this? Listening.
Listening. Yeah, listening. Like right now, listening when he's saying.
How about this? Do something they ask of you.
Yeah. Like do something they want.
That's doing something nice for them. That's wrapped up in
I
that.
got one.
What do you got?
I think I just forgot.
Think about if you were trying to make sure that Virginia believes that you love her, what are you going to do?
She's like definitely giving her something. Yeah, I know that. But okay, let's see. She
Make
likes
something?
me hugging her when she's sad.
Oh, there we go. Comforting. This is kind of wrapped up in a couple of them, but I'm going to call that one out in particular. Yep. Comforting. Being there when they need it, which is what this is.
Yeah. Being polite.
I've already got that. Manners.
Okay.
Some people believe that manners may actually have the opposite effect. That by being polite, you're not being genuine with them. You're not being real. And instead, you're sticking to a script. And so it's disconnecting. So in some cases, manners may actually prove to be the opposite.
What?
That some people think that if you're talking to them with manners, they don't actually feel love. So I mention that because that can be a confusing one. It's not always the case, but that can be. What else you got? Anything else?
Well, would you like me drawing something for her?
That's make them something. What I'm going to call out, and this is one of the things to remember here, is I'm going to call out this one right here. What's that? Listening.
Like, what's the problem with listening?
There's no problem. I'm saying I'm going to call this one out as being particularly important to this how. Why do you think that's the case? What is listening?
Like, listening to someone, like, say something. Yeah, like saying something nice, and you listen, and you're hearing what they're saying.
You are hearing what they're saying. You're getting very close. What listening actually is, I'm going to go ahead and erase all this.
Except listening. Oh.
I'm going to rewrite it on the board. This right here, listening is the as far as I can tell, is the most effective and easiest way to build love with a person. Is that right there? And the reason is because let's look at what listening is. Listening is creating, this is going to sound really familiar, a deep, strong connection where you prove that they have been heard. That is really what listening is. It's about the the impact on the other person. They determine whether or not you're listening, not you. Now, back to what we were talking about a moment ago, I'm just going to underline all these words.
That are good.
Creating connection where you prove. What does it sound a lot like?
It sounds like...
Sounds like love, doesn't it? Because we said that love is creating a deep, strong connection where you prove that you care for them. Right? How do you prove to them that you care for them in this sentence here? How do you prove that you care for them? Which is the definition of love. Or the why love works. You're showing that they've been heard. Yeah. It turns out that people want this. This is something that you need to remember. Heard. You will prove to me that you love me by creating a deep, strong connection where you prove that I've been heard. Should I ask you a question, Hazel, to find out whether or not I've been heard? What about you, Julia? Over here, I'm very questionable about that. Okay, let's answer these three questions, which are the questions for the day. And these are going to be the things that you'll be quizzed on over time. what is love for a leader?
It is a tool.
It's a powerful tool.
It's perfect.
Yep, it's a powerful tool. Now I put love, ... It's a power is a powerful tool. Why? Why does love work?
Because then they will get you to do behaviors.
No. That's saying like this is it's a leadership tool. Yes, we got that. But why does love work? Why does love create influence? We kind of just said it.
It creates infinite. I mean, you know.
The reason why is because it creates a connection with other person where they believe, there's that word believe, you care about them. 3, what is the easiest way to create connection or to create love? Listening. Okay. Nice job, guys. Okay, that's all that we have time for on this edition of Leadership Academy for Kids. We're talking about love. Love is an extremely powerful leadership tool. The reason why it works is because it's just baked into what influence is. Influence is the ability for me or anybody else to convince somebody that you have their best interests at heart, that where you're going, where you personally are going, they are critical towards the ability for you to go and get there. And your ability to actually show and demonstrate that and continually show their value is how you actually gain that influence. And so it's the same thing with love. If you create a connection with the other person, you show them love, they believe, because you've proven it, that you care about them, which is influence. And the easiest way that you could possibly do that is by listening to them. Julia mentioned comforting them, right?
Yeah.
So comforting them. Actually, did you say that, Hazel?
Yeah.
Hazel said that. Yeah. Hazel said that, one of the ways that you can show love is by comforting somebody. That's actually kind of what I'm saying by listening. They don't always need comforting when you're listening to them, but when you listen to them, when you ask them questions about the things that they're actually interested in, you are showing beyond a doubt, you're proving to them that you actually care about them because, well, by golly, you're listening enough to be able to ask intelligent questions to get them to go further about it. It must be the case that you care about them. So we do this every single Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we do that with my 2 kids because that's kind of the purpose of this. I'm teaching my kids leadership, and these are things that every single person should actually know because this is how our world is actually built, how humans interact and how they move things forward. And you two, these are the sorts of things like using this tool to get actions, behaviors, and beliefs, creating this connection in other people that you actually care about them. And by doing it, by listening, by you doing that, you're going to get people to do actions, behaviors, and beliefs that you want. And if you don't, you won't. My name is Mike Cornwell, and my 2 kids' names are
Hazel, Julia.
Hazel and Julia. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.